Gridiron grinder, hut hut hike.
All right, party people. It is Thursday night, Gridiron Grinder time. I'm Ryan. With me, as always, is my buddy James. And whoop, I got to do a little move there. I got us on the wrong sides. Uh, this is I don't know, episode whatever, blah blah blah. We stopped tracking that like a year ago.
Like two.
And yeah, yeah, it's we've been doing it for 5.5 years or whatever. So tonight we are going to basically do a recap on the regular season game picks. Then we're going to go back and take a look at our preseason record predictions and just kind of like do a little, overview on, where we were right, where we were wrong. Obviously, you can never predict injuries and all that kind of craziness. And so, whatever, it's just fun to do. And then we'll get into our playoff picks, which is going to start with the wild card weekend. And James, last year we missed this one because I don't know, I was out of town or you were out of town or whatever. But the year before, it was super wild card weekend. Remember? And because
Yeah.
they added the teams or whatever. And this year, everywhere I see it, it just calls it wild card weekend again. And so I'm like, did they get rid of the super part of it, or am I just missing it on like the ones that I'm seeing?
I have not seen it called Super Wildcard Weekend.
Yeah, I wonder
And
if they just did that to like, make a big deal out of it when they added the new teams, and now that it's been a couple of years, they just decided to drop it. And I don't know why that just like
okay, here
stuck
it
out
is.
for me.
All right, I found it. So, okay, where'd it go? I just lost it. Format.
Had it and it's gone.
All right, so from 2021 to 2024, they called it Super Wildcard Weekend.
Yeah.
It's
And then
now
they switched
Wildcard,
it
and they switched it back this year, last year,
last
24 to
year, the
25
one that
season.
we missed. Yeah, the
Yeah.
episode we missed.
So it
Okay.
was 22 to 21 season to 23 to 24 season. 23
Gotcha.
24 season. So, yeah, so they switched it back last year.
All right. Well, no biggie. Either way.
Whatever.
Yeah, we'll do our wild card weekend picks and then, we'll go from there. So, yeah, I guess I don't know, man. Do you want to do the
So
regular
first
season picks recap or what?
first what we should hit on is the coaching openings.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hit the news, man. Hit the news. Yeah,
So I
some big
haven't
action.
I haven't caught up all the way. I know Harbaugh and Baltimore. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and Mike McDaniel in Miami.
Mike McDaniel in Miami, Stefanski. We obviously know Tennessee and the
Oh
Giants
yeah,
had
and
fired
then
theirs.
Gannon in Arizona.
Gannon in Arizona, and there was one more. I thought there
Pete
was
Carroll,
seven.
Vegas.
Carroll in Vegas. Yeah, I think that's it.
I think there's 8 of them that are open right now. Well, I'm just kind of like
Uh,
scrolling through the list of teams to see.
oh, the Falcons.
Yeah, yeah.
Did
Raheem
they?
Morris is out.
Raheem
Yeah,
Morris. Yeah, that was the eighth one.
yeah. That's a lot, dude. That's a quarter of the league.
Yeah, that's a lot of coaching openings. A lot. Some of them deserve. Some of them surprise. Like with Harbaugh, I'm not that surprised with Harbaugh, just simply because of the fact that I think they needed a
It's been
new
a long
voice
time.
there.
Yeah,
He's been there for what, like 20 years. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl there, but
long
it's
time
still
ago.
it was a long time ago, and it's time. You just kind of need a new voice sometimes, kind of like what we've been saying about Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and 18 years is how long he was in Baltimore,
Mm-hmm.
and he won his Super Bowl way back in the day with Joe Flacco, and
Yeah,
you
it was
know,
what, 16, 2016?
ever ever since Ozzie Newsome, kind of like forced him to take on Lamar, it just seems like they've been good but not great, and they've fallen short in big moments. And there have
Mm-hmm.
been a lot of games where Lamar's wanting him to go for it on fourth down, and he's not wanting to, and you can see them not it being in sync, right? And it just
Mm-hmm.
and I think that they finally started to get a little bit better in sync. And then just this year, like the wheels fell off everywhere else. The defense was like god awful. And it just, nothing was working. Obviously, Lamar gets hurt every year, right? And so, it was time to make a switch. And I think Harbaugh is going to be sought after, even if maybe he takes a year off and just hangs out on TV or whatever. But he's too seasoned of a coach and still fairly young enough that another team is going to come calling for him, man.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly.
And then we'll see. I mean, with Tomlin, just a couple weeks ago, it seemed like a foregone conclusion that he was out. And so, and it seemed like it was a mutual kind of thing where
Mm-hmm.
whether he won some playoff games or whatever, it was just time to make a split. Now that they're in the playoffs, anything can happen, right? If they made a run, I'm sure everybody starts feeling better and things change. But if they get like sniped off here in the first round, I mean, we could be finding out in a couple days that Tomlin's gone. So
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tomlin was gone. Um,
yeah, they need to change up too.
yeah, and their big issue is Roethlisberger held on for too long, and then they haven't really been able to find a quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Like Atlanta, that wasn't really that big of a surprise with was that Raheem Morris? Was it Morris in Atlanta or was it
Yeah,
something?
yeah. My thing with Raheem Morris was that, you know, they finally got the edge guys on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And, Penix was only in year two and then he got hurt, right? And so there were a lot of things that, you know, it was just sort of like bad luck things that happened to them this year, where I kind of
Mm-hmm.
thought he would have gotten at least year three to see it all come together. And if it didn't, then you would say, okay, we're going to make the move. And so I thought Atlanta was maybe a little premature, but I'm also not like a huge Raheem Morris proponent at the head coaching level. I think he's a great coordinator. I don't know. I don't get that right vibe from him as a head coach.
No, but like the thing with it that kind of surprised me a little bit was it felt like that team turned everything around at the end of the season. I mean, they won their last
Yeah,
four
with
games.
Cousins out of nowhere. Yeah,
They won their last four games. They won five of their last seven games. Like
yeah.
it felt like they turned the corner and then they got rid of them.
But yeah,
Yeah,
but I think that's part of the problem, right? Is he benched Cousins, and
I don't. But the way Cousins was playing when he benched Cousins was kind of like it was a no brainer. Like you
he
and I, who love Cousins, were wondering if
yeah,
Cousins was
but
really done.
no, because and it was patchy, right? Last year, his first couple games, he was leading the league in yards, and then he fell off a cliff. And so it's like, is it a patch or what? And Raheem Morris was very quick to give Penix a chance, and that's fine, man. See what you got in your rookie. But
Especially
now,
drafting him at what, number 7?
yeah, but now Penix gets hurt. Cousins comes out and ends up being better. It looks messed up, man. It's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is not, it's like, how do you go back now to Raheem Morris, who married himself to Penix? And so it's like, I think, in everything I heard about Atlanta is that it's a way deeper organizational dysfunction. And so
Mm-hmm.
basically they brought in like a consultant and they were just like, you guys just need to break this whole thing apart and start over is what happened.
Yeah, that and they messed up. Like honestly, I think they kind of messed up a little bit by not hiring Belichick
They
and
might
going
have,
with
yeah.
Morris in the first place. But
Yeah.
hey, hindsight's always 2020.
Yeah. Would have been better for Belichick too, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then you have Vegas. Vegas really screwed the pooch this year.
yeah.
Like what they needed to do was they needed to blow it up and do a rebuild, and they chose to go with Pete Carroll, who what's he 76, 74,
Oh
something
yeah.
like that.
However old, yeah.
However old it is, which means you're going to a coach like that, you have to win now. So they tried to do patchwork and really set the franchise back a full year, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a bummer. I mean, we thought when he brought in Geno Smith, holy cow, maybe they got a chance to do something
Mm-hmm.
right out the gate. And then, I mean, it was like 2, 3 weeks in, it was like so apparent that their offensive line was
Was trash.
probably, without a question, the worst in the league. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why Genty didn't have a great rookie year and just nothing came together, right? And it's like, Geno Smith throwing picks like crazy. Well, yeah, man. He's got no protection. He's just
He's got no
basically fighting for
protection,
his life.
and your best receiver is your tight end. Like,
Yep, yeah, and he got hurt for a while too. So like,
mm-hmm.
it just and we kind of did mention it earlier in the year that when you could see it starting to fall apart in the first couple weeks, we were like, well, you know what? I mean, they do have one of the weakest rosters in the NFL. And so even a guy like Pete Carroll just can't outcoach that, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then with Arizona, like I think Arizona is gonna. There's a lot more coming with Arizona.
Yeah,
With they got rid of Gannon, which isn't a surprise. The teams really struggled, but I think the reason the team struggled was they don't have a quarterback.
no, I
Jacoby
mean,
Brissett
yeah,
played better in what was it, 7 games, 8 games this year, maybe even a little bit more. Played better in those 7 or 8 games than Kyler Murray did his
yep,
entire career
yep,
there. And I mean, they gave him a huge contract a couple years ago, but it's still like it. He's not the quarterback of the future. Like he should have gone to baseball.
yeah. Well, and Arizona's another one of the teams that had a weaker offensive line this
Mm-hmm.
year too. And, I mean, you and I see it and we talk about it every year. You win in the trenches,
Mm-hmm.
and there's only one Josh Allen, man, that can make it happen without like a good offensive line like that. And it just I don't know. It blows my mind that these teams just like they get a blind spot to it and then it's like, oh, you only won 4 games. Well, what'd you think was going to happen?
Yeah. Let's see. What was the one? What was the other one that I wanted to touch on?
Stefanski with Cleveland?
Stefanski with Cleveland. Like the thing with Cleveland, like he was a 2-time coach of the year.
Yeah, he's going to get looks from other teams.
He's going to get looks from other teams. I think he was a great coach. He was in a shit ass fucking quarterback situation for the
Oh,
last 3 years.
yeah, hamstrung by the Watson deal.
Yeah, the Watson deal killed his chances. I
Yeah,
understand, like next year, they're probably going to be drafting a quarterback because they don't have their quarterback of the future on the roster. I don't think so. I understand the theory of getting rid of the coach when you have to really start over at the quarterback position because you don't want to have like with Chicago where but Caleb thrived. You have that
yeah.
lame duck year where the coach is trash, which hinders the quarterback's progression.
Yeah, sometimes they never, it's like they get blitzed and they never even come back from it after that rookie year. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
you want to make sure you got the right sequence of events, right?
Yeah, it was some weird stat I heard like after like week 1 this year that Caleb Williams in his 18 starts had 3 different offensive coordinators, no, 4 different offensive coordinators and 3 different head coaches.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, because he had the interim
Yeah, the interim guy,
tag,
and
and
yep, they
then
shook it up. Yeah,
they shook it up, and they got different new offensive coordinator. And then when Ben Johnson came in, he got another new offensive coordinator. Speaking of offensive coordinators, I don't know if it's been official or not, but I've read rumors that Detroit was getting rid of John Morton.
oh, we did, and he talked a lot of trash on his way out the building, and we have since sought approval to interview Mike McDaniel to come in as offensive coordinator,
Ooh.
which I would really like, to be honest. But I think McDaniel might hold out and see if another team tries to go for him as a head coach because I have heard that some teams have interest in the rumor mill. But
Mm-hmm.
if not, man, I would throw every dollar at him and just say, look, dude, we'll make you the highest paid offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm. See, but the problem is with like a McDaniel or that, like you're looking at like you'll get a couple years and then like after like year two. Somebody's going
That's
to give him
fine.
another shot.
That's fine. Because here's the deal. For us, that's all we need is a couple years, win the big one and let him go. And the whole time it's happening, you already have a guy waiting in the wings that you're trying to develop, and so that you've got sort of your own depth chart in the coaching ranks that you got to work on. But for me, it's he comes from the Shanahan coaching tree.
Mm-hmm.
He only had the 1 year's offensive coordinator, but he had a great running game, and that's our focus. Is run your offense through the running game, and then open up the passing game from there. And I think he could do that perfectly. I think it's like a match made in heaven. To be honest, it's just a matter
Yeah.
of is he going to get another head coach gig or would he take an offensive coordinator job for a couple of years?
Yeah, I don't know, and time will tell. I'm interested. I'm intrigued by it, but I
Yeah,
don't think I see him holding out and
yeah,
trying to hold out for a head coaching job. Plus,
yeah.
he doesn't have to. He doesn't even, this cycle. He doesn't have to make any decisions because I believe Miami still has to pay his salary this year.
Yeah, I'm sure he's still getting paid for another year. Yeah,
So we'll see.
I got you.
All right, that's all I wanted to touch on the news.
Okay.
You you won the picks.
I think I've
I
I've won them every regular season,
You
James.
won every regular season. Um, Granted, I had to take a lot of fucking chances this past week.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, basically every chance.
Yeah,
Not
I
basically, literally every chance.
literally I had to go against you on every pick to
Yeah.
win. Um, didn't do so well. I mean, shit. First game I was done. Carolina couldn't beat Tampa
Yeah.
Bay, but Atlanta took care of business, so Carolina made the fucking playoffs.
Yeah.
Fucking
That was a weird twist.
8-19. So what it wasn't so within the division, common games are the tiebreaker, with the exception of if it's a three-way tie, and
Okay.
somehow in the three-way tie scenario, Tampa Tampa Bay got. I wanted to look at this because this is like I still don't fully understand how Carolina won out when if it was all right. So head-to-head win percentage.
Okay.
So okay, so Tampa Bay and Atlanta were 1-1 against each other. Carolina and Tampa Bay were 1-1 against each other, but Carolina was 2-0 against Tampa Bay, and
Uh,
that's how Carolina got the edge over the other two teams because Tampa Bay has the edge over Atlanta based on win percentage in common games, which
gotcha.
is one pick before one. So it goes common games then conference. And if it went conference, if it went to if it was conference and common games, then Atlanta would have won the division,
Okay.
which is interesting.
Yeah, that would have changed everything.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't really truly understand it because I know Tampa Bay. If it was ahead, if it was, if they were 1-1 against each other and it was a two-way tiebreaker, Tampa Bay would have won based on common games.
Gotcha.
So whatever. It's confusing. An 8-19 once again gets to host a fucking playoff game. This is the fourth time it's happened,
Yeah, just, I don't
and
know. Yeah,
and
there needs to be
Carolina
something.
Carolina, because it was Seattle, Carolina, and Tampa Bay that did it before, and now Carolina is the first team to host a playoff game with a sub 500 record twice.
Oh, yeah, I don't, I'm not digging that. There's, there needs to be some kind of, well, I don't know. They first of all they need to take away a couple playoff teams, but then there still would need to be a workaround for that. But because there
Yeah,
are obviously better teams, it just I get it. You're trying to give a division winner their chance.
yeah, but like if it was like so, basically Pittsburgh in the AFC, Pittsburgh would be the if they did based on straight win percentage, Pittsburgh would be the seventh seed,
Okay,
not the four, and then Carolina would
which I think is
be
more appropriate.
this that would also be the seventh seed and not the four.
Yeah,
Because all the teams, all the other playoff teams in the AFC have better are 11-6 or better, where Pittsburgh's 10-7, and the same where like the Green Bay as the seventh seed is 9-7-1.
yeah, I got you.
But
It's all right. There's pros and cons to every way you can move it around. So I get it. It's fine. It's just, we're gonna
yeah,
balk at it when this happens. That's all it is.
that's all it is. We're not going to like it because it seems like bullshit.
Yeah.
But
But
then
yeah, so
again, also when it's happened before, I think most of the time the sub 500 teams won.
okay. Well, yeah. Um, and yeah, I mean, I guess that's good. They're making the case that hey, they can play too. Well, and I know that the home teams have a huge advantage in the playoffs. They say it's like something like 70-75% of the home teams win in the playoffs, man. So it's like, if you won your division and you got in and you got a home game, that's a huge advantage even if your record sucks.
All right, so this is okay. So I missed one team that was sub 500 that made the playoffs. It's happened two, three, four. This is the fifth time.
Okay.
And going into this one, it's 2-2 because it was Washington in 2020. They lost to the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay in 2022 lost to the Cowboys. Carolina in 2014 at 7-8-1 won against the Cardinals, and then Seattle at 7-9 won. Oh, that was the Beastquake game.
Against the Saints.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that one, like Seattle, like some of these teams, there's not that big of a home field advantage. Like Carolina's not as big of a home field advantage. Washington isn't. Tampa Bay isn't. Carolina really isn't. But like Seattle, that's one team where home
Yeah,
field
you
can
got good
really
home field.
swing it.
12th man, yeah.
So, anyways, I got 5 right for a total of 159. 58% correct. I didn't get to 60, but who knows? Maybe if I was closer, I would have gotten to 60. You got 11 right, 180 overall. You finished 66.18%. So, congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I will be going out to get my bottle of Peerless Double Oak tomorrow. And when I tap into it, I will for sure raise one to you, my man. So it was another fun season, of course. And I did get pretty slacky with the picks when I had such a huge lead, but it's okay. It was kind of a way to give you maybe a chance to try and catch back up, and then just a way for me to just take some shortcuts and whatever. And uh, you know, if you're up for it, I'm good to do the playoff bet like we always do, and I'll do the same thing I did whatever year it was, where if I somehow double down and win it, I'm not gonna ding you twice for another bottle. So,
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
yeah, I don't remember when it was, but I know
Mm-hmm.
we talked about it at one of them. So, you
Yeah.
know, but if you win, I would gladly buy you a bottle of whiskey, my man. So,
And I just noticed we had 8 minutes.
okay.
So I think we can do one division and kind of talk about it, and then we'd have to take a break. You want to take the break now and just do like a straight shot?
Why don't we take the break now and we'll do a straight shot, man?
All right, sounds good.
All right, I'll hit you up in 10, bud.
All right, so talk to you.
We are back.
For how long, we will see.
Yes. Hopefully the full 40, but yeah, we'll find out.
All right. So you want to start with and run this a little bit?
All right, so yeah, let's we're gonna go back, we're gonna look at our preseason record predictions, and we'll start with the AFC East. And, you know, looking back, I'm just let's see. Okay, I got mine set up here. So, oh, I thought I had mine set up. Never mind. Hang on.
All right.
Okay, now I got it set up. Sorry. So for me, top to bottom, I had Buffalo 13-4, New England 9-8, Miami 8-9, and then the Jets 7-10. You were similar with, well, the same with Buffalo 13-4, and then you had a bigger drop off with New England 6-11, and then both Miami and the Jets at 5-12, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
we were both close on Buffalo. We were off, obviously, on New England being way, way better than we expected. And then, with Miami, I mean, Miami, I was close. I was off by one, and you weren't that far off. But the Jets obviously were the laggard. We thought Justin Fields and Aaron Glenn maybe having a strong defense could like eke out a few more wins, and it just didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
like I had in like our way too early. I had the Jets at 3-14.
okay, all right. So yeah, so you
So
were on a bit.
I was like right on it, and then like I was like wait a minute.
Yeah, give a dog a bone.
Yeah, and then I gave them a couple extra wins, which I shouldn't have. Nobody expected Miami to be this good. Like we expected them to make strides and probably next year, the year after, really make a run for it.
Yeah, and they did have you go with New England. They had a ton of free agent acquisitions last year,
Mm-hmm.
and we had talked about that historically speaking, when teams do that, you don't really hit on all those picks, and so it ends up being a lot of money that you don't usually get a lot of value out of. But for the Patriots, I mean, it almost all worked perfectly to plan in year one, and so it
Yeah.
was like the best scenario for them.
So the interesting thing about the Patriots is if they make it to the Super Bowl, with the exception of San Francisco, they played all the teams in the NFC playoffs.
Oh, gotcha.
They beat Carolina. They wait. That's not right.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because you got
Wait a minute. That's who the fuck was I reading then? Like I swear I read this stat and that's not right.
hmm,
I read and I didn't verify before I said it, and I was verifying it
that's all right.
here.
Because yeah, they played 12 games in the AFC, and so they
Yeah,
only had five non-conference, but that's okay. It sounded good when you said it.
hold on. Let me look at one other thing. Maybe it was. I don't know.
Okay, no biggie.
Yeah, I have no clue.
That's all right.
I have no clue. Like I was verifying it as I was. Well. Anyways, let's move on.
All right. So next up, we got the AFC North, and in the AFC North, I had Baltimore going 13-4, Pittsburgh going 11-6, Cincinnati 9-8, and Cleveland 3-14. You had Baltimore 12-5, Cincinnati 10-7, Pittsburgh 7-10, and Cleveland 1-16. And so, at the end of the day, Baltimore struggled. Pittsburgh ended up winning it, which, I had them at 11. You had them at 7. All right. So I guess I was a little closer on that one, but um, Cincinnati sucked, which was a lot, I think, because Burrow was out.
Yeah.
And then
That,
Cleveland at 5-12 did better than both of us expected, but I think a lot of that is just, come on, they've got a dominant defense, and they've had a handful of games where the offense actually showed up. I think
yeah.
Judkins gave them a nice boost when he started playing. Gave them that run game that they needed, but their offense is still very far from being respectable.
Yeah. And props, I want to say here, I meant to say that props to Miles Garrett for getting the sack record.
Oh yeah.
Um, People are saying that Burrow laid down for him. He did not. Come on. He
I
did
mean,
not.
the tape is a little weird. Burrow did kind of take a dive, but I don't know if it was taking a dive to give him the sack or taking the dive because he knew he was going to get sacked,
Okay.
regardless of who it
But
was.
he didn't but it was from behind, so he had no clue who
Yeah.
was touching him.
No, he knew it was coming, right? And so it
Yeah.
was, whether it was Miles Garrett or someone else, he was like, "Hey, man, I'm just going to protect myself."
Protect
So
myself, protect the ball. Like
yeah,
he didn't lay down, he didn't do what Favre did for Strahan a number of years ago and lay down on the field so Strahan could touch him and get the sack.
gotcha. And so yeah, with Cleveland too, I did like the tight end they got, the rookie Harold Fanta
Uh-huh.
Jr. I thought he looked really good this year, as well as Schlesinger at linebacker. Man, so I think Cleveland definitely hit some pieces in the draft that they can build off of.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you're saying, the quarterback thing's still a mess. Is Shador the answer? I don't know, man. Give them a season, an off season to work on things. But, to me, they got to bring in another veteran because, it just, I don't know. It's, you know, keep throwing darts until you get it right is all I'm going to say.
No, exactly.
So next up, we go to the AFC South. And I had Houston. Well, actually, we both had Houston winning it. I had them at 11-6. You had them at 10-7. Then I had Indy at 7-10, Jacksonville 5-12, Tennessee 3-14. You had Indy 5-12, Jacksonville 4-13, and Tennessee 3-14. So we both nailed Tennessee at 3-14. Um, Jacksonville was the surprise, right? And
Mm-hmm.
actually, I would say Indy would have been the surprise if Daniel Jones didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
But Houston ended up being good. They started off the season slow and then rallied hard all the way through the end. Jacksonville with Liam Cohen, they were one of the best stories in the league this year.
Yeah, they
He
were.
got,
Liam Cohen really turned that team around. He got Trevor Lawrence playing his best ball that he's played in his career. And I mean, we talked about it through the season. We were slow
yeah,
because we weren't slow propping them up, but like they were a team that looked like they could beat anybody any given Sunday, but at times they also looked like they could lose to anybody.
yeah. And they picked up a lot of steam going into the playoffs, which is
Mm-hmm.
exciting, right? It's
Yeah.
just you know, at the start of the year, you look at it and you're like, hey man, you're inheriting a team that did pretty bad last year and it's an unproven coach, so it's hard to give
Mm-hmm.
them this much credit, right? And so,
Yeah.
for us, it's at least for me personally, it's like I like to see a little something before I go all in on a guy, and obviously now for next year, I'm going to be thinking, holy cow, what's he going to do to top it, right? So, but pretty good stuff. You know, I guess that's all I got on them. You want to go to the West?
Yeah, let's go to the West. So with the West, I had Kansas City winning it at 12-5, Denver at 11-6, the Chargers at 9-8, and Vegas at 9-8.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what you had on
Oh,
there.
I shit the bed, dude. I had Kansas City at 14-3, but I had three teams from this division making the playoffs. I had Denver at 11-6, in Los Angeles at 12-5, and then I
Hmm.
had the Raiders at 7-10. And so the Raiders they were the one that really disappointed, as we've talked about. But then the Chiefs, even like well before Mahomes even got hurt, they were, you know, they just couldn't get it done this year. And
Yeah, they
so
couldn't get it done. Like the game Mahomes got hurt in, that loss eliminated them from the playoffs.
yeah,
So
it
it's
was
not like
already over.
it
Yeah.
was already over for them. Like, and we talked about it, and we questioned at the beginning of the season if they were going to have a down year or something because we talked about how they played basically two extra season or a season and a half extra the last 3 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and there was all the weird, stuff going on with the refs last year, and there was
Yeah.
just a whole lot of stuff going on that um, and their defense played phenomenal all year, and so it was all their offense, which is where you got to start wondering what does that mean going into next year, especially now with a late season serious injury with Mahomes. You
Hmm.
know, a lot of what I'm hearing is that he probably is not going to be ready for week one, but I think it's still too soon to know. Um, but yeah, and then looking at the other teams, you got Herbert playing hurt going into the playoffs, and somehow he's playing hero ball, winning games with a
Hmm.
broken non-throwing hand or whatever. And then Denver, man, I was so pumped for Denver, except that now seeing them all year, the defense is good. The defense is exactly what you want it to be. The problem is they've been on the field way too much because their offense does nothing until the fourth quarter. And
Hmm.
that to me is like, I don't know. I just think that 14-3 record is a little deceiving. I think the defense, it's a defense wins championship thing. They could make a run. It's just their offense needs to be more inspiring, to be honest.
Hmm. And the thing with Denver, like they had some luck with Kansas City. Like they had a lot of close wins where the ball bounced their way or the foot
Yeah.
bounced their way, a la the Baltimore game where
Oh
his like
yeah.
if his foot was a half size smaller, he would have been in bounds, and which is crazy. Like, I mean, that happened for them all year last year. This year, I think the key to Kansas City is the Super Bowl last year brought them down to earth for everybody. How badly they got beat in the Super Bowl by
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Yeah. They
Looked at it
got
as like
spanked.
this team can be beat,
Yeah.
and gave people more confidence going up against them. The confidence that they didn't have in prior years.
Yeah. Philly definitely spanked them, man. That's for sure. Speaking of which, we're on to the NFC East. And so NFC East wise, I had Philly going 14-3, Washington 11-6, Dallas 7-10, and then the Giants 2-15. You had Philly at 12-5, Washington 11-6 also, Dallas 7-10 also, and then the Giants 4-13. So you nailed the Giants.
I nailed the Giants. Uh, I
You kind of
basically
nailed Dallas. Yeah, I
The
guess we both
Cowboys.
kind of nailed Dallas. Yeah.
I was like I did really good in the with Philly. Like I was a game off. Like,
Yeah.
and then Washington just shit the bed.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and for me with Philly at 14, it's hard to not pump up the Super Bowl winner, especially when they just dominate the way they did,
Hmm.
and they basically bring everybody back. It's like, I mean, I know they lost some guys, right? But they brought a ton of guys back. Um, so either way, they still pulled it off. And Dallas is what we expect them to be every year, which is just like a bunch of hype and then nothing. Washington, whether it was the Jaden Daniels injury or not, which I still think it's a lot of Dan Quinn this year.
Hmm.
Washington just really they looked bad. And hey, I get it, they're hanging on to Dan Quinn for now, but I told you I would not be surprised if he was an unexpected termination because of how bad his coaching was this year.
Yeah.
So, and then with the Giants, I will say this, man. They struggled through the year. Dable's out, whatever. But I actually
Oh,
really, I actually really enjoyed watching Jackson Dart, man.
mhm. Jackson Dart gives the Giants a little bit of hope going into next year. They need a couple more. They need some more pieces. They need to get
Well, they'll get neighbors back too,
neighbors back. Yeah,
But I think
and they'll
if
get
you're
Scadaboo back.
yeah, I think if you're a coach or a head coach candidate, the Giants' job becomes attractive because of what you saw out of Jackson Dart.
Hmm.
It's I think you can build around him. He showed enough that he's got that fire. He's got, he can run. He's got the arm. Yeah, you gotta get him comfortable in an offense, and you got to get him to protect himself better and whatever else. But um, you know, that's a huge piece to build from. And so I think a lot of coaches are going to want that job out of the ones that we see open right now.
Yeah, and the thing with it was what Jackson Dart did was without their number one receiver.
Yeah, yeah, that's huge, man. All right, so let's go to
Let's rip the
shit
Band-Aid
show
off.
territory. Yeah, we might as well just do it because there's, nothing to fucking get excited about. I had Detroit at 10-7, Green Bay 8-9, Minnesota 7-10, Chicago 6-11. You, my man, had Detroit 13-4, Green Bay 10-7, Chicago 7-10, and then Minnesota and 3-14. It was a tight race, but Chicago ended up coming up on top, 11-6.
Hmm.
And then we had the Packers 9-7-1, Minnesota and Detroit both 9-8. It just I don't know, man. What do you even say about this? Obviously,
So
Ben Johnson's legit, but what
yeah,
else do
the
you,
first the first thing with this, this is an interesting one. The North is because last year Detroit won the division, Minnesota was second, Green Bay was third, Chicago was fourth in the division.
yeah,
This year it flipped. Chicago won the division, Green Bay was second in the division, Minnesota was third in the division, Detroit was fourth in the division.
yeah,
Like that's about all I can say about it. Green Bay, I would say I nailed it on them.
yeah. I mean, I will say
Chicago,
this: I did have Detroit beating Chicago twice.
mm, I did too. So, but with like Detroit, like it's just a rough season,
Yeah.
and Chicago, I didn't like the reason why I had Chicago so low is because I didn't have the faith in Caleb Williams.
Well, yeah. I mean, we saw how bad Chicago was last year, and it was one of those things where it's like, even if Ben Johnson's good, it could just be that bad of a team, right? And
Hmm.
so, and it ended up being, and the thing is, their season, it just like it started in such a weird, choppy way, but like you could see every week they were getting better and building momentum, man. And
Hmm.
that was the thing that, I at one point I was telling you, man, they're a fucking dark horse now. And it sucks. Like and I knew going into the year to be nervous about Detroit, which is why I only had them at 10-7 because we lost Ragno and Zeitler. And that ended up
Hmm.
killing us this year. The offensive line ended up being a shit show for us. And the thing is, we sucked bad in week one and it looked like we were bouncing back and it's like, oh, maybe the offensive line isn't going to be that bad. And then it was like, oh no, it for sure is because we couldn't do shit for running the ball, which made Goff have to pass way more than we should be doing with Goff. And it's not that he's not capable of it, it's just that you never want to be in a one-dimensional offense like
Hmm.
that. And it just it's a bummer, man. I don't know what to say about
Yeah,
it.
and like kind of where the wheels fell off with Detroit was the fact that they could get pressure on Goff, and Goff
Yeah.
was not that good under pressure with them. And the unfortunate thing is, I think they're losing two more pieces of the offensive line this offseason. So
Who are the guys you're thinking are gone? Decker and who?
Who was the other one?
Because
Give me one second.
let any of them go except for Sewell, and you might as well hang on to Ratledge because he's coming off his rookie year.
I'm hearing rumors that Glasgow might be retiring.
And yeah, I mean, I'm not. Here's the thing: Glasgow would have been way better if he could have played guard, right? But we forced him at center because of Ragnar retiring, and
Mhm.
he was okay at best. Is the problem? We need a major upgrade at center, and so I'm not worried about it. Plus, Glasgow, man, on most teams at this stage of his career, he's a rotational guy, and so I'm glad that we had him and that we were able to use him, but. We definitely need an upgrade at this stage, right?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
They need to be
All
throwing a
right.
lot at that wall.
All right. Then we go to the NFC South. I had Tampa Bay winning the division at 13-4. I had Atlanta at 9-8, Carolina at 7-10, and New Orleans at 2-15. I I was right there with Atlanta and Carolina. I didn't give Carolina any credit going into this season because I was hyping
Yeah,
them up all last year and they fucking blew.
yeah.
Um,
I was
Tampa
even worse.
Bay, Tampa Bay kind of the wheels fell off with injuries with them, and they
No,
kind of they
no, no, no,
couldn't.
no, no. The crazy thing for Tampa Bay is that they were winning all the games earlier in the year when they had guys hurt. And then when they got everybody back, you thought they were going to be even better. And somehow they just like got dysfunctional with all their guys healthy.
Yeah, no, that's kind of where I was saying. Like the
Okay,
injuries,
all right.
I think like the injuries, and when the guys came back, the cohesiveness wasn't there anymore. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
with the injuries and the guys out, people were playing above their level, and that's why the wheels fell off. Is because the guys came back because
Oh,
people were stepping up, and then
okay.
the guys came back and it kind of slacked off.
I got you. Yeah, and then Atlanta, I mean not Atlanta, New Orleans, when they finally moved to Tyler Show, they started winning some games and you could see that there's, potential there with Kellen Moore developing a quarterback. And I don't know that
Mhm.
shows the answer, but it shows that Kellen Moore, I think, can be a head coach. I do still think the Saints roster is a mess and he's got a lot to work on, but you know, I'm kind of happy for him to be honest. They did better than I thought, a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing from them is they're planning on him being the starting quarterback next year.
I mean the way he developed, if you think that he has a high enough ceiling to keep going, why not, man?
Yeah,
I would just say handcuff him with a veteran, man. Like find a guy that's a vet that you can just say, hey, we just need to have another decent option in case something happens. So
and did you go through what you had for records?
So I had Tampa Bay at 11-6, Atlanta 7-10, Carolina 5-12, and New Orleans 3-14. So I was like super down on Carolina. Was
Yeah.
not expecting this. I will say this, and we talked about it mid-year when Rico Dowdell started running like a beast, and then they also got Derek Brown back on the defensive line. That was the shift for Carolina. And we saw it happen in like a 2, 3 game span where it was like, oh, wow, now they can actually compete. And it was really working for them. But, until then, I was definitely not a believer. And with Atlanta, I mean, I was close, but, I didn't really know what to expect with Penix in his first year starting, right? So,
Yeah. All right. Then the West. I mean, I nailed Seattle winning the division. I was off on the record. I had them at 12-5. Then I had San Francisco at 12-5, which was right on. The Rams, I had them at 9-8, and then Arizona at 5-12.
yeah, this ended up being quite the powerhouse division.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona lagged big time, but yeah, I had San Fran at 12-5, which was nice. I hit it, but I had them winning it, and they didn't win it, but that's okay. Um, then I had the Rams at 10-7. I had Seattle. I actually had Seattle sneaking into the playoffs at 8-9. But then I had Arizona also at 8-9, which that was obviously way off. But Seattle was a really good story this year, man. Darnold ended up being the real deal, minus like 2 games where he just had like brain farts, which
Mm-hmm.
happened to coincide with me starting him in fantasy. Fucking awesome. But uh other than that, man, he impressed. I was actually really happy for him because last year in Minnesota, it's like, dude, if they weren't confident enough to keep him, it had to make you wonder, maybe this guy's got something going on, right? And so I think he acquitted himself quite well. And then San Francisco, with all the injuries, man, I cannot believe they won 12 fucking games.
Oh, I know.
There are a lot of analysts saying, how do you not have Shanahan be coach of the year when, you get that close to the 1 seed and you have like, for huge chunks of the season, like all your best players out, man.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
it's all good.
don't know. Fucking crazy.
And
But
then the
it's
Rams.
Shanahan.
Yeah, and then the Rams, man,
So I
oh yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, then the Rams, it's Stafford with the MVP year. I wasn't expecting that. I thought he was gonna have a great season, but not at that level necessarily. And then we did see their defense start to show that potential again last year, and then this year, they kept building on that inertia on defense. They stumbled a little bit at the end, which makes me a little nervous now with them going into the playoffs. But
Mm-hmm.
there was a period of time where I thought maybe the Rams are the top team in the NFC this year, and now I'm not like totally sold. I think Seattle's been very slow and steady, and probably the more sound defense, but I think it could be anybody's game, to be honest.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. I thought at one point the Rams possibly the best team in the league, and it kind of trailed off. Overall, for my playoff teams, I got 4 of the 7 right for each division.
Oh, let me check mine. I didn't. Let's see. I got one, two, three.
I'm sorry, it's a division conference.
So I got four right in the NFC, and then I got one, two, three, four, five in the AFC. I don't know, 9 of them.
Yeah, I got 8, so it,
Oh,
you win.
yeah, yeah. What do I win? Nothing. I win just feeling good. I don't know, man. No, in the first year we did this, you're the one that did the seeds. I just did a record, and then I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. And so I had to go through all my game by game to figure out all the tiebreakers. And I was like, oh, that's a son of a bitch to figure that out.
Yeah, it's difficult. When I have time, I have time. When I don't have time, I don't have time.
Yeah. Well, my man, you want to do our playoff picks here?
All right. So as we do every year for the playoffs, we pick the games and then we pick confidence level in
Yeah.
the game. Or this week, always our most confident game is always going to be a 6, where our least confident will change round by round depending on how many. Like this week, it's down to 1. Next week, it's down to 3. The following week, it's 6 and 5, and the Super Bowl is just an automatic 6
If we even get that far. A
if
lot of
we even
years
get
we
that
don't
far.
get that far. Yeah.
Yeah. So first up, we have Saturday mid afternoon for me, late afternoon for you. The Rams at the Panthers. A rematch.
Yeah.
Ooh, a rematch. Panthers beat the Rams.
Yeah,
Panthers
this
beat
was
the
this was
Rams.
this was Stafford's like one blip on the radar, right?
No, Stafford's one blip. There was one of his blips on the radar. He had that blip
Okay.
and then the Falcons game.
Oh, gotcha,
He
gotcha.
had,
Yeah, because I was going to say, didn't he have like 4 picks against Carolina or something?
yeah, something like that. But he had like the Falcons game. Was it 4 against Carolina?
I
I
don't know
don't
if
think
it
it was
was
that
4.
many.
It was a lot. It was just a bad game.
It was 2.
Okay. Well, two's not that
I think
bad,
it
I
was.
guess, but
I think it was 4 against Atlanta.
maybe that's what I'm
I
thinking.
think that's what you're remembering. 3 against Atlanta.
Okay.
So either way, I think it's going to be a repeat of what happened earlier in the year. I think Carolina's going to win the game. We talked about it more off a lot of times. The home team in the playoffs wins, but also with a sub 500 team in the playoffs. I said earlier, this is the fifth time it's happened. It's 2-2, and
Yeah.
it's always a team that the team that wins is always like you all. It always feels like, well, the team that won was going to get blown out.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. The
Like
least
like New
expected
Orleans,
thing.
like
Yeah.
everyone expected New Orleans to blow
Yeah,
the
with
doors
Drew
off of
Brees.
Seattle with Drew
Yeah.
Brees, and they
Beast
didn't.
mode just says no, not today.
For confidence wise, I'm giving it a 2.
Okay. So when I did these, I went to lineups, which I haven't been using all year. And I was surprised to see that lineups doesn't have the player ratings anymore. And that bummed me out because I wanted to try to look at the strength of the trenches. And I couldn't do that. And so instead, I had to look at their matchup ratings, which give you like offense, defense, special teams. And it had the Rams by a massive, massive margin. And I think, we've talked about lineups in past years where they kind of lag on updating as the season goes on. And so I do believe that they're like way underestimating Carolina. Um, but it was such a huge spread. And just in my mind, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm still not a true believer in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And McVay and Stafford and these guys, they've been there. I think they know what's on the line. They're going to be more comfortable in this game, even though it's on the road. And so I took the Rams with my 6 confidence interval, which I think is bold as F being on the road, but I'm doing it, my man.
All right, then we have the Packers Saturday night on Prime Video. Packers at the Bears. This will be the 22nd time a divisional matchup in the playoffs where one team beat the other team 2 games, both games in the
Okay.
regular season. The previous 21 times, the team that won 2 games in the regular season swept 103 14 of the 21 times, two
Okay.
thirds of the time. 2-2 when the team that swept the regular season is on the road. 12-5 when the team that swept the regular season is at home. So therefore, I mean, on top of that, Packers haven't been playing like we thought they would. I don't trust Jordan Love to win a big game.
He's been hurt for a couple weeks too.
He's been hurt for
They're
a couple
saying he's
weeks
going to
too.
play, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Chicago. I hate being on Chicago. I give it a 5 here because I think it's I just
Yeah, you feel good about it. I
feel
got you.
good about Chicago winning the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Chicago story's not done yet. Like we talked about, they've been building steam all year, getting better every week. Their defense playing good, their offense is playing good. They're multifaceted on offense with 2 different running backs, 2 different tight ends, a slew of wide receivers. Caleb can run the ball. Um, you know, Green Bay, we don't know what Jordan Love we're going to get in this game. They're saying he's trending in the right direction, should be fine to play, whatever else. But, you know, is he going to be a little rusty coming out of the gate? And then even if he's not rusty coming out of the gate, Josh Jacobs has been getting shut down a ton this year. They're just
Hmm.
not. They're not. They're not complimenting themselves even on the offensive side of the ball. And so, and then you got Micah Parsons obviously out. He's been out for a while now on defense, out for the year. But the defense is not what they were expecting it to be either this year. And so, I like LaFleur as a coach. I think he always kind of finds a way to keep the team tight and disciplined. But I just think that it's not going to work for them in this game, man. I think they're outmatched here. So I'm going Chicago, and I'm going confidence of 4 for my pick.
All right, I just noticed we're under 4 minutes left. San Francisco at the Eagles. I'm on the 49ers. Just something about the 49ers that I like. I don't like how the Eagles have been playing really down the stretch. Um, I'm on, or even all season, and that's going to be a 3 confidence for me.
Okay, I'm going Philly. My heart would want to pick San Fran, but I think Philly. Now we're in the playoffs. They're going to start rolling. We know that they got the talent. San Fran's been banged up. I think eventually it catches them, and it happens here. So I'm going Philly with a 5.
All right, then the Bills at the Jags. I'm on the Jaguars. I with the 4. I with the Bills. I think the Josh Allen injury is worse than they're letting on.
Okay.
And I think as Josh Allen goes, the Bills go. It's unfortunate because this is like the prime year for them to make the Super Bowl because you don't have
Yeah,
Lamar or
Kansas City and
you don't have
Cincinnati out.
Kansas
Yeah.
City and Cincinnati. You don't have Burrow. You don't have Lamar. You don't have Mahomes.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they run into a team that's really hot.
Yeah, and I'm just picking Jacksonville because, like you're saying, I think they're a hot team right now, and I don't have faith in Buffalo in the playoffs. But this is one where it's so hard for me this early in the playoffs to knock out Buffalo. So I'm only
Mhm.
giving Jacksonville with a 1 on my side.
Chargers at the Patriots. I'm on the Patriots. Patriots, I think, are winning the Super Bowl, and I give that a 6.
Okay, I got the Patriots with a 3 here. I do like the Chargers, but man, it's hard to not go Patriots. I just can't be super confident. They're right in the
Yeah.
middle for me.
And then Texans at the Steelers. I didn't know how to pick this game. Like, I think
Yeah,
Tomlin's kind of coaching for his job. I think they need to win a playoff game for Tomlin to come back next year. And I think,
and he still might not. Yeah,
and he still might not. And also, I think Houston's been too iffy for me offensively.
yeah. They have been streaky offensively, but they are freaking on fire as a defense. If this game was in Houston, I would have a much higher confidence. But
Mhm.
because it's in Pittsburgh, I'm taking Houston, but with a 2.
All right, so that's our picks. Good luck to you. Normally this kind of decides it. Like this
Yeah,
week,
usually we don't
we
get
can just
past this yet.
yeah. So, but we'll see.
All right, my man. Well, hey, it was fun. Good luck this weekend. I'm sure we'll be talking, bud.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one.
Gridiron Grinder. Hut hut hike.